Corruption, a persistent and pervasive issue, has plagued societies for centuries. It erodes trust in institutions, diverts resources from essential services, and hampers economic growth. In response to this global problem, anti-corruption initiatives have emerged as a means to combat and mitigate corruption's impact. These initiatives encompass a wide range of strategies and actions, all aimed at promoting transparency, accountability, and integrity in both the public and private sectors. One of the fundamental challenges in addressing corruption is its multifaceted nature. Corruption can manifest in various forms, including bribery, embezzlement, nepotism, and cronyism. It can infiltrate government agencies, businesses, and even non-governmental organizations. The complex and adaptable nature of corruption requires comprehensive and adaptable strategies to tackle it effectively. Anti-corruption initiatives often begin with a commitment to transparency and open government. Transparency, as a foundational principle, is instrumental in preventing corruption. Open government initiatives aim to provide the public with access to government data, budgets, and decision-making processes. Transparency acts as a deterrent by exposing corrupt practices to public scrutiny. Whistleblower protection is another essential component of anti-corruption efforts. Whistleblowers play a crucial role in uncovering corruption by reporting wrongdoing from within organizations. To encourage reporting and protect whistleblowers, laws and mechanisms are established. These safeguards shield individuals who expose corruption from retaliation and discrimination. Effective enforcement of anti-corruption laws is vital to deter corrupt behavior. Governments and regulatory bodies must ensure that laws are consistently and impartially applied. Sanctions and penalties for corruption should be severe enough to act as a deterrent. This not only punishes wrongdoers, but also sends a message to potential offenders that corruption will not be tolerated. International cooperation is increasingly important in the fight against corruption. Corruption often transcends national borders, making it a global concern. International organizations and agreements, such as the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, foster collaboration among countries. These agreements set standards for anti-corruption measures and encourage the sharing of information and best practices. The use of technology and data in anti-corruption efforts has grown in significance. Digital tools and data analysis can help detect and prevent corrupt activities. Open data platforms and digital reporting mechanisms provide avenues for citizens to report corruption. Data-driven approaches can also help identify trends and hotspots for corrupt practices. Civil society organizations and the media play a crucial role in holding governments and corporations accountable. They act as watchdogs, investigating and reporting on corrupt practices. Their work often leads to public awareness and pressure for change. In some cases, investigative journalism has exposed major corruption scandals, prompting investigations and prosecutions. Anti-corruption initiatives extend beyond the public sector. They also target the private sector, where corruption can take the form of bribery, fraud, or unethical business practices. Businesses are encouraged to adopt ethical codes of conduct and anti-corruption policies. These initiatives aim to create a corporate culture that values integrity and compliance. One of the major successes of anti-corruption efforts is the increased awareness of corruption as a global issue. Governments, organizations, and the public are more cognizant of the detrimental impact of corruption. The issue has gained prominence on the international agenda, with discussions and commitments to combat corruption at the highest levels. Whistleblower protection laws have been implemented in many countries. These laws provide legal safeguards for individuals who report corruption. Whistleblowers are no longer as vulnerable to retaliation as they once were. Their willingness to come forward has led to the exposure of significant corruption cases. Anti-corruption agencies have been established in numerous countries. These agencies are dedicated to investigating and prosecuting corruption cases. They have had notable successes in uncovering corrupt practices and bringing offenders to justice. Their specialized focus on corruption-related issues enhances their effectiveness. International agreements, such as the UNCAC, have provided a framework for global cooperation against corruption. UNCAC has been ratified by a large number of countries, demonstrating the global commitment to combating corruption. It sets out clear guidelines for preventing corruption, criminalizing corrupt acts, and enhancing international cooperation. The application of technology in anti-corruption efforts has yielded significant results. Digital tools and data analysis have improved the ability to detect and prevent corruption. Digital reporting mechanisms and open data platforms have made it easier for citizens to report corrupt practices. Data-driven approaches have helped identify corruption trends and areas that require attention. The work of civil society organizations and investigative journalism has exposed corruption and led to accountability. Corruption scandals uncovered by these groups have triggered public outrage and pressure for action. The media's role in investigative reporting has been instrumental in bringing corrupt practices to light. In the private sector, many companies have embraced anti-corruption policies and ethical codes of conduct. These initiatives have fostered a culture of integrity and compliance within businesses. They have also reduced the prevalence of corrupt practices in corporate settings. Despite these successes, anti-corruption initiatives face significant challenges. One of the enduring challenges is the ability of corrupt networks to adapt and find new ways to exploit vulnerabilities. Corruption is an adaptable adversary, constantly evolving to circumvent anti-corruption measures. Political will and commitment to anti-corruption efforts can waver. In some cases, political leaders may undermine anti-corruption agencies or weaken anti-corruption legislation. The lack of consistent political support can hinder the effectiveness of anti-corruption initiatives. Whistleblower protection, while improved in many places, still has gaps and weaknesses. Some whistleblowers continue to face risks and challenges, and there is a need for more comprehensive and robust protection mechanisms. The enforcement of anti-corruption laws can be inconsistent. In some countries, the legal framework for tackling corruption is not effectively implemented. Weak law enforcement and a lack of judicial independence can result in impunity for corrupt individuals. International cooperation, while valuable, faces obstacles. Some countries may resist collaborating on anti-corruption efforts, especially when the corrupt practices involve powerful individuals or entities. The lack of a unified and coordinated global approach can impede progress. The use of technology and data in anti-corruption initiatives has also raised privacy and cybersecurity concerns. Digital platforms and reporting mechanisms may be vulnerable to hacking or misuse, potentially endangering the safety of whistleblowers and individuals reporting corruption. Civil society organizations and the media often face threats and intimidation. In some countries, investigative journalists and activists are at risk for their work. This can lead to self-censorship and reduced scrutiny of corrupt practices. The private sector's adoption of anti-corruption policies is not universal. Many businesses, especially smaller ones, may lack the resources or commitment to implement comprehensive anti-corruption measures. The prevalence of corruption in the private sector remains a challenge. Corruption remains deeply entrenched in some societies and cultures. Cultural norms and social acceptance of corrupt practices can hinder progress. Overcoming deeply ingrained corruption requires significant time and effort. Anti-corruption initiatives face the challenge of ensuring that their measures are not overly punitive. Balancing effective deterrence with fairness and due process is a complex task. Excessive penalties can lead to unintended consequences and discourage individuals from reporting corruption. Measuring the impact of anti-corruption initiatives can be difficult. Corruption is often a hidden and covert activity, making it challenging to assess the true extent of success or failure. Quantifying the reduction in corrupt practices is a complex endeavor. One area of ongoing concern is the role of money in politics. Political campaign financing and lobbying practices can create opportunities for corruption. Reforming these aspects of the political system remains a challenge. Despite these challenges, the fight against corruption remains crucial. Corruption continues to undermine trust in institutions, divert resources from essential services, and hinder economic growth. Anti-corruption initiatives must adapt and evolve to address these challenges effectively. Continued international cooperation is vital. Corruption knows no borders, and global collaboration is necessary to combat it. The commitment to transparency and open government must persist. Whistleblower protection laws should be strengthened and more widely implemented. Enforcement of anti-corruption laws must be consistent and impartial. Technology and data should be harnessed to improve anti-corruption efforts. Civil society and the media must be supported and protected in their role as watchdogs.